If you have a standard Mini 14 model and you want to replace this rear sight with a scope mount, the S&K mount is one of the better ones on the market. I'm sure everybody has seen the one that has the replacement cover and bolts into the side and sits way up high. Well, that's really not good for a cheek weld, and it's not very sturdy. The S&K model is going to be a direct replacement for this, and it's going to tension off the back. So it's going to be rock solid. It's going to be standard length for putting on a scope. And I'm going to show you how to take it all apart. The first thing you're going to want to do, see if I can get a good picture of this for you, is the Mini 14 rear sight is really held together by this cross pin. If we take a punch and just drive that out, I'm going to see if I can do this so you can see it. Just a small punch, drive the pin out. You can see we took the pin out. It's a very small pin. Then all that's left to do is to remove this little ferrule, and it's a friction fit. It's not gonna just fall off most times, and that leaves you with the other end of the windage screw. With the windage screw, there's a couple of ways that you can go about removing it. You can, of course, use, and I had it right here, you can use your Mini 14 sight adjusting tool. This is probably the best way to do it, because it will press that detent down so that you can twist it out. If you don't have one, you can press in with a punch and then turn it that way. It will come out. It just takes quite a bit longer. If you have this tool, you can just pop it in there most times. This one doesn't quite want to fit, so we may well end up doing it the other way. But you get the idea. So by just holding in that detent, you can unscrew the Mini 14 sight, and this piece will unscrew eventually, and it'll come out of there. To save a little bit of your time, I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and be right back. Once you get the sight far enough out, you can just unscrew it by hand. Sometimes if you push the sight over a little bit, it's kind of a long bolt, so it'll take a little while, but eventually it will come out. Now I'm holding this together so that the detent spring doesn't shoot out of there, but I'm going to just rotate the sight out and peel it all out as a single piece. You can pull your detent out. Now if you were going to just replace the standard aperture with a replacement one, your Mini 14 sight tool will go right in there and unscrew it, and this whole piece comes out. It's pretty self-explanatory. So now we're down to just the receiver. And we're going to do a little test fit, and it drops right in there. Now you won't be able to use your iron sights anymore because those will be gone. You'll put in the supplied Allen head screws, and I've used one of these for a long time. They're very well made, and if you pay attention that anytime you take it off, if you always tighten one side all the way down and then the other when you do your final tightening, you'll find that its return to zero is really quite good. You will have to remove it in order to take the bolt out. And what I'm doing here is I'm just snugging these up a little bit. The piece can still float around. And from there, I want to take the rear set screw and I want to go ahead and tension it. And I'm just screwing it down. It's forcing the front of it down onto the receiver. And then I'll come back in. I just always tighten this side first. Tighten that good and tight. Tighten this one good and tight. And there it is. It's very rock solid and stable. I don't recommend that you put any thread locker on these. If you do, only use a blue, because as I said, if you want to get the bolt out, this gets in the way quite often. And you certainly don't want to make this a permanent thing if you ever plan to do any maintenance. Put a little blue on your set screw if you want. That'll keep it tensioned. And this makes an excellent scope mount. Your line of sight is still pretty good. You're going to get a little lower cheek weld, but not as low as the side mount models. So that's how you'll install an S&K scope mount on your standard Mini 14.